budgeting. It's not the sexiest word out there, but it is a very important thing to do in real life. It's also a very important thing to do in Marvel Strike Force. There's only a limited amount of resources, guys, and you need to spend it wisely. So in this video, we're gonna go through each store in the game. I'm gonna talk about what I am doing in each store and what I would do if I was at different points in the game. More of a beginner player, more of a mid-game player. So yeah, if you wanna see how you should be budgeting your resources, what you should be spending it on, let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
What is up, Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. And yes, this is a redo of the shopping guide, that casino I did way back in the day. I want to thank everybody that watched that video. And man, look at our setups way back then. This was from May 3rd of 2018. No green screen for either of us. Look at that video quality. How things have changed, guys. And I want to thank everybody that watched that video back in the day. And I hope it helped you. And I hope this video helps you as well, because this is the much needed redo for that original video, because things have changed in the game. A lot of things have changed in the game. So I'm going to talk about the changes that have happened and what I am doing right now in the store and what I think people should be doing, depending where they're at in the game, new, mid-game, or end-game. Before we get into that, Valley merge, I am playing on BlueStacks. It is 60 frames per second. Let's go into my game right now, guys. All right, so here you can see my store right here, and you can see I've already bought something right here. But every day or every time the store resets, what I'm gonna do is come to this store, and any superior uniques, I'm gonna get them. So this titanium alloy, I got it. And at this point, I was very laser focused for Ultron, but at this point, when these characters need so many superior uniques to get them from gear 13 to gear 14, I'm buying everything I see, if I have the resources. Same thing for these other unique parts, this superior performance tracker required by Nick Fury and Shield Security and a bunch of other characters. So that is the first thing I'm gonna do every reset, is come to this store and buy any pieces that I will need in the future, depending on what my gold is at. So let's scroll down a little more. You got these advanced basic catalysts, you got some other parts there. Sometimes I will buy this if I need it for a specific character, but I'm gonna need it for a specific character if I am gonna choose to spend money on this. I'm not just gonna buy this randomly, especially with the more ABCs that we're getting in the game right now. This is something that I do not spend money on. I don't spend cores on these shards. Very little bang for your buck. There is one exception though. If you make this purchase and it will take your character from 1-star level to the next star level, that is when I would consider buying this. But normally I don't even worry about these character shards and who is in there. Next, we got some other pieces down here. We got more gear pieces. Now, I will buy these from time to time, but again, it's very specific in what I'm doing. If I'm farming for a specific character, then I will come in and buy these. Or if I know I'm gonna need it for a character that I'm working on in the very near future, I will buy these. But I'm not just buying these randomly, because again, these resources are limited. You wanna spend your all your resources wisely. I don't spend cores on these fully built up pieces, but I mean, if you are wailing harder, I guess that is something you can do if you don't have the patience to just farm all the little pieces naturally. And again, same goes for this blue gear. If you're farming blue gear or green gear, then I recommend waiting till it's on a very specific character and not just buying this stuff. Now, you do need to make 3 purchases from this supply store every day, and hopefully you can spend it on things that you need. But at the very bottom, these last 3 green parts, they don't cost very many gold. So if you're getting close to reset, you haven't purchased anything in the supply store, just spend these. It's not a lot of gold. It's not gonna break the bank, and you'll get your daily achievement for that. Let's move on to the Blitz store, because this is a more controversial store. A lot more going on here, a lot more characters that you can get. And for me, every day is pretty much defensive boost if I'm not maxed out already, and same with the war energy refill. Those are must-haves for me, because we play war in our alliance, even on the off days. Now, one question that I get asked a lot: should I buy these individual character shards, or should I buy these orbs? And for newer players, I think it is best to get these orbs, unless you are very laser focused on getting a certain character to build up, to unlock a certain legendary character or whatever you want, I would normally stay laser focused. But if you are someone that doesn't really care which shards you get, if you're looking to get a little more gold, these are going to give you way more value for the currency that you're spending, but the trade-off is you're not guaranteed to get the character that you want. So who are the characters that I think you need in this store? Because there's a lot of great characters. Let's start to separate it out. So first one, Kree Royal Guard. You need that character to unlock Nick Fury. I think this is something that you eventually should farm. I think it's a must-have character. This guy right here, Kree Royal Guard. Luke Cage is another one, very good for beginners on that Defenders team. Now, if you are later in the game and you don't have your Luke Cage built up, I don't think it's that bad because the Defenders are outshined later in the game by many other teams, and if you already have those teams, Defenders is not that much of a priority. But if you are a newer player and don't have a solid team yet for Arena or Raids, Luke Cage, that is the way to go. And eventually you want to get all these characters up to 7 stars anyway. Crossbones has fell off a lot. I don't really use Miles, Spider-Man, or Gamora, except in my Hero Brawler team, and I don't think that's a very important team for newer players or mid-game players. I think that's more of an end-game team. I think a newer mid-game player should be focused on other characters, but these are very good characters. Eventually, I would work on them. Mantis, very good character, and I think she's actually very, very good for that Star-Lord unlock. You could use Gamora as well, but if you're going for speed, Mantis I think is the way to go because she's still gonna remain, or at least as of me recording this, she still is in my Guardians team and is a very, very important healer for those raids. And then we got Rhino. We got the double unlock with Sinister Six. Rhino is part of that Sinister Six, so require for Invisible Woman, and you can use that Sinister Six to unlock a legendary Shuri, yes. So those are the 4 characters that I think are important in the store. Rhino, Mantis, Luke Cage, and Kree Royal Guard. Every other character, good, but not a necessity. AIM Monstrosity, I do want to point them out because AIM just got a rework, but not one of the most meta teams out there. All right, next store. We are on to the Raid store. Now, this one is a little tricky because these characters, you don't get to see all of them all the time. They're on a rotation. You only get to see 3 as of me recording this. There is a data mine that this will change, but you're still not going to be able to see every single character. So again, the question remains, should you get the Raid Orb or the characters? So let's go take a look at the Raid Orb and see who is available in this Raid store. So if we are to look at and again, there's a lot of good characters, but if we just narrow it down to the necessary characters, I think this store also has 4 great characters here. Killmonger's a great character, Hand Cincher's a great character. Trooper kind of fallen off a bit as he's not actually required for that Fury team anymore. Ronin, War Machine, all good characters. Depending what team you're working on, they could be very valuable. But the 4 I think that are required at some point if you're building up your roster. Kree Oracle, you need him to unlock Nick Fury. Rocket, because he's Rocket, one of the better characters in the game. You got Mysterio, again, that Sinister Six with that double legendary unlock. And then Sabretooth, one of the Brotherhood. I know a lot of people replace him because he's not the most essential member, but you can use him to unlock Magneto, so very, very important. And same thing goes for this store and the Blitz store. You know, you're getting a better bang for your buck with these Raid Orbs, but again, you're not able to choose which characters you're getting. So if you don't care which characters you're getting and you just want the max amount of shards, this is the way to go. But if you are laser focused on a character and want to get that character, I would just save your raid currency until that character pops up in the shard. You might get lucky, have him pop up 3 times in a day, or you might not see him for a week. So a lot of luck involved in using this raid store, but I would generally stick to focused farming, even though you're not getting as many shards per your currency. But I like that control. All right, as far as gear, blue gear, purple gear, again, it's gonna depend on what you are needing. Now, right now I'm working on Fantastic Four. I need a lot of advanced phosphates. I need a lot of advanced health catalyst parts. So I bought these right here. These other things, I need some of them, but I'm not gonna buy them because I don't need them right now. So I'd rather save my currency for other things that I need right now, and that is kind of the way I go. Let's move on to the arena store. There are a lot of good characters in this store, guys. A lot of characters that I think you're gonna want to have at some point at 7 stars. First one, you see I'm farming him right here. It is Vulture. Sinister 6, yes, double unlock. You're eventually gonna wanna have this character. Juggernaut, very important character for that Brotherhood team. And you could use him to unlock Magneto as well. So there are 2 characters that I think are very important so far. Moro, another very important character that you're eventually gonna wanna have at 7 stars because he is one of the villain mystic controllers for Phoenix. So Moro is the 3rd character on this list that I think you should farm at some point. And what is that point? It's going to be very individualized, guys, depending where you are in your roster and what team you are working on. Drax, important part of that Guardians team, one of the better tanks in the game, and synergizes very well with Ultron, yes, to stop some of that early turn burst damage. He will take a lot of hits for Ultron. And obviously in that Guardians team, he is the V-tank for that Guardians team and works well in other teams as well. Just a very versatile character. So that is 4. Number 5 is Daredevil, especially for newer players to round out that Defenders team. And then we also have Shield Security. That is going to be the tank for the Fury team. So I think eventually you're going to want these characters. Those and yeah, afterwards you're probably going to want more of these characters as well. Aim Researcher, they just got a rework. Hand Archer is actually pretty good. Quake, great standalone character, but not a lot of teams for her. Scarlet Witch, another great character, not a lot of teams. She works well in some teams. Deadpool, another great standalone character. And M'Baku, he is the tank for the Wakandans, but again, not a required team for newer mid-game players. So some of these characters you don't need to farm on a daily basis. Let's move on to this store right here, the War Store. This one is a little tricky, and I think there's one character in this store that is the most important, far above all the others, and he's not showing up in my store right now, but it is Pyro. Pyro, very important piece of that Brotherhood team. You could use him to unlock Magneto, and he is a big damage dealer for that Brotherhood team. So if you are working on that team, I would have a lot of my resources going towards Pyro. Kind of sucks. This war currency is not as abundant as some of the other currency, but Pyro is where I'd focus. Now, as you can see, I did not buy this superior unique piece because on this gear, again, I'm treating this orange gear like I'm treating the rest of the gear, the purple and the blue gear. I'm only using this if I need it or if I have a surplus in my currency. And as you can see, my war currency is running a little low right now, so I'm not gonna buy this. But if I had 3,000 or above, I probably would buy this piece because it's very important. Ultron and Captain Marvel need this, so that I may or may not do this before the reset, but that is what I'm looking at. Same thing for these pieces. Now, I need this, I need a few of these other pieces, but I'm saving because I don't know what I'm gonna need in the future. And I may need a bunch of these phosphates. So normally I'm just gonna save these war currency, but again, if Pyro pops up and I don't have him at 7 stars, I would buy that shards. Carnage, I don't have him at 7 stars yet. I don't buy him very often. So this is not a frequent place that I spend my resources. Plus, I don't use Carnage that often as well. I think building up a character for me comes down to usage, because if I'm using that character a lot, obviously it's going to be more valuable for me, and they need to be a pretty good character. Carnage fits one of those. He's a pretty good character, but I don't use him a lot. Pyro, on the other hand, he fits both, so I'm farming Pyro. Where should you spend these elite war credits on? I don't have a lot right now. The best place is going to be this purple store if you are focused more on these purple characters, or if you're really looking to collect your superior uniques. If you haven't unlocked Ultron yet, or you're trying to get a character from 13 to 14 on their gear, start farming here because you're gonna need those superior uniques. You're gonna need a lot of them. So most of the time I'm just getting purple gear though. But once in a while I will get orange gear if I'm very specific with what I am doing. And again, it comes very specific. And at the very least, guys, before you just farm something, you should know why you are doing it. I mean, that should be pretty obvious, but I know for myself, I've just clicked on that button a couple times and like that made no sense. All right, last store is this Elite Red Star Orb store. You could buy a bunch of characters here, and yeah, it's not a great value, but there are certain characters that I'm looking for to upgrade. Again, it's gonna come down to usage and how good is that character. Now for Elite Red Stars, the best type of characters are gonna be either your damage dealers or your tanks. And healers also work well in that as well, because normally with healers, their healing is usually based on their stats. The damage dealers, their damage is based on their stats, and with a protector, their health is based on their stats. So all 3 of these guys really benefit from a stat boost from the red stars. Now, just kind of for fun, if I were to upgrade one of these characters, I think the one that I would pick, and I think most people would pick, is Magneto. I think it's a no-brainer there out of these 6. But again, you don't get to choose this store. I use this store very infrequently, and then I go to my orbs. I have never traded in a Elite 4 credit, but once in a while, I'll trade this Elite 5 credit and get some currency for that. I don't think this is as much of a value that you should be doing that. I'd rather have the orb. With this one, it is very situational. Sometimes I'll buy the orb, but more often than not, I am using these credits so that I could get stuff in the supply store. And that is the updated shopping guide. Hopefully you guys like this. Hopefully this has some value for you, so you use your resources wisely and don't just spend like I did just on random things in the game, because you want to have a purpose, you want to have a goal, and that is to get your characters to the max rank as quick as possible. And that is it, guys. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, maybe it'll help them as well, and click on the notification bell. Join that squad, guys. Join the notification squad, and I will see you guys next time. Make sure you check out some of the links down below. Valley merch, Patreon, BlueStacks. How do you like the 60 frames per second? I think it looks very nice. I'll see you guys next time. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin, out!